Hello, friends. This is Confessions with Amy, and I'm glad you're visiting my channel. Here we share new confessions every day.
They say betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from blood. I used to think that was dramatic. Now I know it's the only real truth I've ever learned the hard way. My name is Eloan. I'm 29 years old, living in a tiny but tastefully chaotic apartment in Beacon Hill, Boston. By day, I write code for a cybersecurity firm. By night, I Google symptoms I don't have and fall asleep to the low hum of podcasts about resilience and healing. For the longest time, I believed I had a normal American family. Not perfect, of course, but close enough. My parents, Dean and Marla, raised me and my younger sister, Sabine, in upstate New York. Modest life, small house, endless Sunday barbecues, Christmases with tacky sweaters. We didn't have much, but we had each other. Or so I thought. When I got my first real job after college, my parents were struggling financially. I didn't even hesitate. I sent money every other week, sometimes more. I paid off their credit card debt. Bought them a new water heater. Paid for Sabine's braces and SAT tutoring. I told myself it was love. I told myself it was what families do. And they always said thank you. Every time. Sweetheart, we're so proud of you. You're the best thing this family has. You always take care of everyone. I wore those words like medals. Then one Thursday evening in late April, my phone buzzed with a video message from Sabine. No text, no context. Just a video. I pressed play without thinking. It was clearly a casual dinner. The shaky phone captured a half-eaten casserole, laughter, clinking glasses. Sabine must have accidentally recorded it while her phone was face down. But the audio was perfect. And that's when I heard it. Dad, so, what's the count this month? Mom, chuckling, Eloan sent $800 last week. I told her the dishwasher broke. It didn't. I just wanted some new skincare. Sabine, God, she's so gullible. Dad, our little family ATM, punch in the guilt, and boom, cash withdrawal. Mom, laughing louder, she really is a sweet idiot. Sabine, she thinks you guys actually need the money. It's pathetic. I sat there frozen, the sound of their laughter echoing in my apartment like gunshots. They sounded so relaxed. So familiar with it. Like this was just normal. A running joke. I wasn't their daughter in that moment, I was a punchline. I didn't cry right away. I didn't scream. I didn't call Sabine and demand answers. I watched the video again. And again. Until I knew every inflection, every laugh, every cruel word by heart. Then I stood up. Walked to the kitchen. And deleted every saved bank account from my Chase app. I didn't sleep that night. But something inside me began to wake up. Something that had been asleep for far too long. The next morning, I didn't wake up, I rose, like something cold and sharpened inside me had taken over. The old Eloan would have tried to rationalize it. Would have thought, maybe they were drunk. Maybe it was a bad joke. But that Eloan had died somewhere between sweet idiot and family ATM. I called in sick to work. I couldn't face Slack messages and Jira tickets when my entire identity had just been torn to shreds. Instead, I opened my laptop and started untangling myself from them. First, the bank transfers. I combed through every recurring payment I'd set up for them over the years, electric bills, insurance, even that dumb Hulu subscription my mom never figured out how to use. Cancelled. Gone. Then I blocked all three of them, Mom, Dad, and Sabine, on everything. Texts, calls, email, social media. No warning. No dramatic send-off. Just silence. I thought I'd feel guilt. I didn't. I felt clean. Around noon, Sabine started blowing up my phone from a different number. First with confused emojis. Then, "Did you get that vid? It was taken out of context." Seriously? Mom didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting. You're being selfish AFRN. Selfish. That one made me laugh. At 3:17 p.m., I sent one message. One final act of grace. You played me for years. You've taken enough. We're done. I didn't wait for a response. I blocked that number too. It was like pulling a plug in my chest. All the noise, the guilt, the obligation, it started to drain away. What was left behind was strange. Quiet. Lonely. But also powerful. Like standing on a mountaintop right after a storm. The first night alone in my new silence, I made dinner, real dinner, not just cereal over the sink. I lit a candle. I ate slowly. And when I climbed into bed, I didn't check my phone. There was no one left to check for. The next few weeks were brutal in ways I hadn't expected. Not because I missed them, but because I had to relearn who I was without them. Without that constant need to prove my worth through sacrifice. Without the narrative that I was the glue holding everyone together. At work, I became sharper. Less available, but more respected. I started waking up early, going for walks around the common, listening to music that wasn't sad or nostalgic. I even joined a local climbing gym, something I'd always wanted to try but never had time for, because family came first. Always family. Always them. People say blood is thicker than water. But water, real, clean, cold water, doesn't drown you in guilt or drain your soul like a leech. Blood might be thicker. But water saves you. And I had finally chosen to swim. I knew they'd come crawling back. But I didn't expect them to be so sloppy about it. It started with an email from my mom's ancient AOL account, the same one she used to sign up for scammy online surveys. The subject line read, "Please read. It's your mother." I almost deleted it without opening. But curiosity is a stubborn little parasite. The email was a wordy mess. No punctuation, capital letters in weird places, half-thoughts stitched together with guilt and perfume-scented desperation. "Hello, and we never meant to hurt you, you know we love you, we were just having some wine and blowing off steam, we're your family, please come visit this weekend, Dad said you can even bring that vegan dessert you like, we can talk it all out, hugs, kisses, Mom." Hugs and kisses. I didn't respond. The next morning, my phone pinged with a Venmo request. From my dad. $3.50 for lawnmower repair. No message. No apology. Just business as usual. The audacity made my jaw tighten. A week later, a handwritten letter came in the mail, from Sabine. She even used glitter gel pen, like we were 12 again. It said, "Hey, sis. You're really going to blow up the whole family over one bad moment? Seriously? I get that it sucked, but you've said worse stuff about people too. I mean, grow up. Let it go. We need you back. It's been super awkward without you. Mom's been crying, a lot. Dad's pissed. I'm stuck in the middle, as usual. Just be the bigger person like always. You're good at that. Love you. Be the bigger person." I had been. For 29 years. They weren't sorry. They were inconvenienced. They didn't miss me. They missed the money. The emotional sponge. The fixer. The free therapist. The human wallet. And the worst part. There was a time, not long ago, when I would have fallen for it. But I wasn't her anymore. One night, after a quiet dinner and a glass of wine, I sat down and wrote a letter I never intended to send. I just needed to say it, even if only to myself. Dear Mom, Dad, Sabine. You taught me that love has conditions. That family means giving without receiving. That my value lies in how much I can carry, for you, never with you. I used to think that made me strong. But strength isn't bleeding for people who laugh while you do it. I'm not coming back. I am not your bank. I am not your buffer. I am alone. And for the first time in my life, I belong to me. Goodbye. I sealed the letter. Burned it in my kitchen sink. Watched the smoke curl and vanish. Sometimes, freedom doesn't come with fireworks. Sometimes it's just quiet. Clean. Final. They still tried for a while. Emails. Voicemails. Even a surprise pop-in from my dad, who showed up unannounced at my apartment. I didn't open the door. Eventually, the noise stopped. They got the message. I wasn't lost. I was done. There's a strange kind of grief that comes when you lose people who are still alive. Some mornings, I'd wake up with phantom guilt sitting on my chest, like my body hadn't caught up with my brain yet. I'd reach for my phone automatically, half expecting a message from my mom asking if I could spot them for the phone bill. And then I'd remember, no one's coming. No one's asking. And I owed them nothing. At first, the silence felt like a punishment. But slowly, it became something else. Sanctuary. I filled my weekends with long walks through the Arnold Arboretum. Picked up small hobbies I used to scoff at, watercolor painting, bread baking, pottery. I said yes to things I used to say no to, simply because I had to be available for my family. Turns out, when you stop bleeding for the wrong people, you have a lot of energy left to build something for yourself. At work, my boss, Arjun, noticed the shift. You seem lighter, he said one day during our one-on-one. Like someone took the weight off your back. I finally stopped carrying things that weren't mine, I told him. He blinked. Well, keep doing that. 3 weeks later, he promoted me. Gave me my first team, a raise, and full autonomy over a new client project based in Portland. The Portland trip changed everything. Her name was Clara Rains, 60-something, former hacker turned tech consultant, and the kind of woman who wore power suits with neon sneakers. She was one of the clients I was sent to onboard, but she felt more like a sharp-eyed aunt who didn't take crap from anyone. We hit it off instantly. She had this direct, no-nonsense way of seeing people. You're smart, she said during lunch at a Thai spot near her office. But you've been trained to shrink. Who did that to you? I hesitated. Then told her everything, in a single, breathless stream I didn't know was waiting to come out. She didn't flinch. She didn't pity me. She just nodded. That's not family, she said, sipping her tea. That's a cult of dependency. Then she looked at me and said something I'll never forget. You get to start over. You don't need their permission. You already paid more than your share. Over the next few months, Clara became a mentor. Then a friend. Then something else entirely, a kind of chosen family. She'd invite me over for Sunday dinners, text me recipes, forward me weird articles at 2 a.m. She even mailed me a scarf for my birthday, hand-knitted, with a note that said, "Daughters deserve warmth." I cried when I opened it. Because that one simple sentence, from someone I hadn't known a year ago, meant more than anything my actual parents ever said to me. You know what's funny? I used to think cutting my family off would leave a gaping hole in my life. But that hole filled itself. With truth. With peace. With real love, the kind that doesn't have price tags or passive-aggressive strings. I wasn't anyone's ATM anymore. I was becoming someone's alone. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged somewhere. Not because I owed anything, but because I was seen. It happened on a crisp Sunday morning in late October. The air had that sharp bite that hinted winter was near, and I was sitting at my favorite cafe in Beacon Hill, sipping a dirty chai and sketching out a design draft on my tablet. Clara had just texted me a meme, something ridiculous involving raccoons and fiber optics, when my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. I ignored it. But it rang again. And again. Then a voicemail. I don't know why I listened. Maybe out of habit. Maybe instinct. Maybe closure. It was my mom. Hi, Eloan, it's me. I know you don't want to hear from us, but... A shaky breath. Your father's in the hospital. It's not serious, but he slipped on the porch and twisted his knee. We could really use some help. We're behind on some bills. Sabine's been busy with her own stuff. I know things got said. Hurtful things. But come on. We're still your family. I didn't cry. I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel anything. Just an old, dull ache. Like pressing on a scar that doesn't hurt anymore, but reminds you it once did. I sat there for a long time, watching the steam rise from my cup, remembering every word they had said in that video. Every time they laughed behind my back. Every time they told me to be the bigger person. And now they were back, empty-handed, with the same expectations, the same manipulation wrapped in "we're still your family." No apology. No ownership. Just need. I didn't call them back. Instead, I opened my laptop and sent a short email. No emotion. No loopholes. Just truth. Subject, closure. I heard the voicemail. I'm sorry to hear about Dad, and I hope he recovers. But this ends here. I have nothing left to give you, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. I loved you for a long time. Longer than you deserved. I have a family now. A real one. Built from kindness, not guilt. I am not your ATM. I am not your fixer. I am Eloan. And I'm finally free. I hit send. Then I blocked their new numbers. For good. 2 months later, I bought a townhouse on the edge of Cambridge. Sunlight pours in through the skylights every morning, and the walls are painted in colors I chose, not neutral beige, not for resale value. Mine. I framed Clara's note, "Daughters deserve warmth," and hung it by the front door. I built a life that didn't revolve around proving my worth to people who never valued it. I found laughter without strings. Love without conditions. Peace without apology. And no, they never showed up again. Because people like that don't chase you when they realize you have nothing left to take. I used to think revenge meant yelling, confronting, demanding an apology. But real revenge? It's living well. Quietly. Completely. Without them.